The night was colder than usual in the small countryside village of Blackwood. A thick fog rolled over the fields, swallowing the narrow road that led to the old Blackwood Manor, a decaying Victorian mansion that no one had lived in for decades. 3 university friends, Emma, Daniel, and Chloe, had rented the manor for the weekend. They wanted adventure, a thrill, something different. The villagers at the local pub had tried to warn them. One old man had whispered, "That house doesn't want visitors. Once you're inside, it keeps you." But the students only laughed. As they stepped into the grand hallway, the wooden floor groaned under their feet. Dust covered the furniture, and torn curtains swayed even though the windows were shut. A strange chill lingered in the air. At night, as the 3 of them explored the mansion with flashlights, Emma stopped suddenly. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. A faint sound of footsteps echoed from the upper floor. Slow, deliberate, heavy steps. Daniel called out, "Hello? Anyone here?" No answer. Just silence. They climbed the staircase, the wood creaking louder with every step. At the end of the corridor, they found an old mirror, cracked and covered in dust. Chloe wiped it with her sleeve and gasped. In the reflection, there were not 3 of them, but 4. A pale woman in a black Victorian dress stood behind them, her hollow eyes fixed on Emma. Emma spun around. No one was there, but the reflection was still smiling. Emma couldn't shake the image of the woman in the mirror. Her pale face, her cold smile, it felt burned into her mind. That night, the 3 friends tried to sleep in the dusty bedrooms of the manor, but Emma kept waking up. She swore she could hear whispers in the dark, as if someone was standing right beside her bed. At 3 a.m., she opened her eyes. The door of her room creaked slowly open on its own. A soft tapping echoed in the hallway, like someone dragging their nails along the wall. Emma gathered her courage and stepped into the corridor. Her flashlight flickered. At the far end of the hall, she saw the same woman in black standing motionless. "Who are you?" Emma whispered, her voice trembling. The woman didn't move. She only raised her hand and pointed toward a locked door at the end of the corridor. When Emma blinked, the figure vanished. The next morning, Emma told Daniel and Chloe. They decided to open the locked room. With some effort, Daniel forced it open. Inside, the air was colder, heavier. The walls were covered in old drawings, crude sketches of faces with hollow eyes, all scratched into the plaster. In the center of the room sat an old rocking chair. It was moving, back and forth, but no one was sitting in it. And then, in the silence, a woman's voice whispered, "You shouldn't have come here." The rocking chair finally stopped. The silence was unbearable. Chloe whispered, "Emma, let's get out of here." But Emma's eyes were fixed on the wall. Among the scratched faces, one drawing stood out, a woman with hollow eyes wearing the same black Victorian dress. Underneath it, in faded ink, a name was written, Margaret Blackwood. Daniel frowned. Blackwood, like the name of the house. That night, Emma couldn't sleep again. She heard the same whisper, closer this time. "Help me. Set me free." The next day, they went into the village to ask about Margaret. An old librarian trembled when they mentioned her name. "She was the last lady of Blackwood Manor," the woman explained. "They say she went mad after her child died mysteriously, locked herself in that room. Some believe she cursed the house before she hanged herself, and her soul never left." Emma felt a cold shiver down her spine. Everything made sense now. The mirror, the drawings, the voice. But that night, when Emma looked into the cracked mirror again, Margaret's face appeared clearer than ever. Her hollow eyes stared into Emma's, and this time, Margaret whispered only one word. "Yours." That night, Emma's dreams twisted into nightmares. She saw Margaret standing at the foot of her bed, whispering in a language she couldn't understand. When Emma woke, her hands were covered in dust, as if she had been scratching the walls in her sleep. Daniel and Chloe grew worried. "Emma, this is going too far. That spirit is trying to control you," Chloe said. But Emma didn't reply. She kept staring at the mirror. Her reflection didn't match her movements anymore. When Emma blinked, her reflection kept its eyes open. When she turned her head, her reflection smiled. The mirror was no longer just glass. It was a doorway. At midnight, the manor shook violently. Doors slammed on their own, windows shattered, and the air filled with Margaret's laughter. The three of them ran toward the exit, but the front door wouldn't budge. Then the old rocking chair upstairs began to creak again. Back and forth, back and forth. A voice echoed through the halls. "One of you must stay. Forever." Daniel shouted, "She wants Emma!" Emma, trembling, whispered, "No, she wants all of us." Suddenly, the lights of their flashlights flickered out. Darkness swallowed them whole. The manor was alive with whispers. Shadows crawled across the walls and the air turned icy cold. Daniel and Chloe held Emma tightly, but her eyes were distant, as if Margaret was already inside her. Suddenly, the cracked mirror in the hallway began to glow faintly. Margaret's figure appeared within it, clearer than ever. She stretched out her hand from the glass, her long fingers almost reaching through. "One of you must take my place," she hissed. The floor beneath them shook violently. Daniel shouted, "We have to break the mirror." He grabbed a chair and hurled it at the glass. The mirror shattered with a deafening scream. But instead of breaking Margaret's hold, the shards scattered across the floor, each piece reflecting her hollow eyes and twisted smile. Emma screamed as unseen hands dragged her backward. Chloe and Daniel tried to pull her, but the shadows clutched tighter. In one final burst of strength, Emma cried out, "Take me, but let them go!" The shadows released Daniel and Chloe. The mirror shards lifted into the air, swirling around Emma as Margaret's laughter echoed louder and louder. Then, with a flash of cold light, Emma was gone. The manor fell silent. Daniel and Chloe staggered outside, gasping in relief as the front door finally opened. The night was calm again, as if nothing had happened. But when they turned back, the broken mirror in the hallway had repaired itself. Inside the glass, Emma's face stared back at them, hollow eyes, frozen smile. She had become the new prisoner of Blackwood Manor.